That's insightful, and yeah, I would imagine that will only expand as we move along. Before I get to the season, get to the games for this weekend, I did want to get some initial impressions from you. You know, we're 6 weeks into the season now. We've had some, some intriguing surprises. I mean, UConn's been way better than people. UConn expect to be good, but not at this level, right? Um, Purdue undefeated at this point. You had some preseason top 10 teams that have had some struggles and have taken some lumps. Creighton being among that group. You've had, Shire at Duke, who's done a pretty good job overall to this point as well. Gonzaga's, and we'll get to them a little bit later on. They've been good, but maybe not at the highest level there. Broadly, what things kind of stand out to you most so far as you look at this through an analyst's eyes for CBS Sports? With the season to this point, what's at front of your mind right now, Jay?
This is so much fun talking about this. I remember you and I were in the bubble early in the season a couple years ago up in Connecticut, and we had just lost to Purdue, and you and I are talking after the game, and you're going through all these teams and where we fit with others, and I'm thinking to myself, I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm going to take everything Matt says as gospel about these other teams because I haven't seen any of them yet, and I don't know. I'm so concerned about us. We just blew a 10-point lead against Purdue. But now being in that position where I can actually watch all these games, it's so much fun. And not think about, as I said to you, like, we got to guard that action. We're going to have to play that team. It's awesome. And one of the things I would say to you that is interesting to me is that I think the parity of the top teams, and I'm saying the top 25 teams, just parity, there are about 25, 30 that are kind of on another level, but the parity of those top 30 is the best it's ever been. And then if you look at like the top 100, 150, there's parity there also, more so than ever. And I think it's because, like you look at Gonzaga going down to Texas, and nobody was winning in that. There's not a team in college basketball that's going to win that night in that environment. And then Texas gets Illinois, and Illinois beats them. Illinois comes home. I watched the Penn State game. Penn State went in there with a bunch of upperclassmen, a fifth-year senior, Funk from Bucknell. He's drilling threes. It is as good as it's ever been. And why? It's NIL is keeping the older guys in college, which I think eventually is going to help the NBA. You and I could talk about that another time, which is a passion of mine.
Yep.
And it's the transfer portal where a lot of teams are remaining old. And I think that's keeping all of the top 100, maybe 150 teams really good. Who it's affecting is the low major, mid-major, and it's affecting high school recruits. Because if you're not like one of these guys at Alabama, these stud freshmen at Alabama, if you're not one of those guys, you're kind of getting recruited at a lower level now because everyone's getting the experienced mid-major guys to move up. Like Mark Sears at Alabama played at Ohio. He looks like a big-time Power 5 player. So I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to be great for college basketball as soon as we can kind of figure out this combination of NIL, transfer portal. We got to figure this out in the next few years.
Yeah, we'll sit down, get together, and solve the world's problems and get that done as well. A quick personal note: yes, Bubbleville 2 years ago. We'll never forget. We're sitting there talking. You had beaten Arizona State, I'm pretty sure, and you were literally sitting there talking with a few of us.
Wasn't it Tennessee?
I thought it was. I thought.
I trust you. I thought
you had beaten Arizona State because remember you scheduled. You were like. It was something like I think I gotta play another game here, and then you wound up playing Virginia Tech, and then you lost to them in overtime, and you were, but literally it was a hash it out session with I want to say,
and it was like 12:30 in the morning.
It would that was what was so hilarious is like the conversation you had with me and a couple other media members. I think the great SID Mike Sheridan was there as well. It seemed like it was something that would be reserved for maybe you and your staff, and I know eventually you did, but man, what a different time that was. What a different time that was.
Incredible.
But a
I think we
wonderful
did
memory
that a
there.
couple nights, Matt, and then we even added Hartford, if you remember, at the end.
Yes.
And we just kept staying and staying and staying in the bubble. It eventually helped us, but it mentally that was really fatiguing.
It was. No doubt about it.